They say a city is a living, breathing thing. Right now, Wakiso is finding a new voice. What was once mere acreage is now a calculated asset. What was once overlooked is now the frontier of wealth. Welcome to Property 360. I'm Wilberforce Nsamba, your voice to the spaces that are rewriting Uganda's skyline and economic future. We are brought to you by the incomparable Pearl Marina, an expansive 389-acre sanctuary with 3 kilometers of exclusive lake frontage. It offers a front row seat to the majesty of Lake Victoria and a lifestyle without fear. Connect with the property movement on social media. Use the hashtag NBSProperty360. The conversation starts now.
Brought to you by Pearl Marina Estates, Garuga, where luxury meets lifestyle by the water.
This week on Property 360, we start small but smart. Can a studio apartment on a tight piece of land actually solve the real housing pressure and still make financial sense? We go on site to see what's possible when design meets display. So the demand for
this kind of studio is high. Why? Because Uganda is at an industrializing stage.
And then condominiums are rising everywhere. But behind the marketing, what are you really committing to as an investor? We strip it back to give you the numbers, structure, and risk.
The demand is there. The question we should be dealing with is, do we have the right product for the right demand?
And finally, we take you to Luvowa Horizon, a high-value property with a resilient $1,000 per month rental potential in one of Wakiso's most sought-after residential pockets.
The Luvowa Horizon has been designed with the fusion of long-term durability, elegance, and timeless value.
Uganda's housing demand continues to grow, yet land in urban areas is becoming increasingly scarce and expensive. So how can developers, investors, and even ordinary landowners maximize small plots while still delivering quality affordable housing? Today on Dream Spaces, we explore one of the smartest solutions in modern urban development: studio apartments. Compact, efficient, and increasingly profitable, these units are redefining affordable housing and real estate investment. Our guide is civil engineer Ebo Kamoga, who has successfully designed and delivered a model studio apartment project that demonstrates how even a small piece of land can unlock significant value. Ebo, why are studio apartments increasingly becoming the most practical and affordable housing solutions in the urban areas?
Thank you very much. If I could think of only one reason, I would say the demography. Uganda's population is growing at one of the highest rates in the world, projected to reach about 100 million by 2050.
Wow.
Of that, 75% are youths, perhaps below 30. This for me means that we have a high demand for spaces that are not extravagant in terms of usage. Whereas they also give an economical sense in terms of how much space they need and that they can fit wherever. Anywhere you go, you will find a person who wants to live alone. The university churns out a number of those every other year.
But even when they're still in the university, they need comfortable spaces.
Exactly. So that's what I would think about.
The demographics. Now, talking about the design, in designing studios, what are the main considerations given the smaller pieces of land? What design considerations do you put in place when putting up studio apartments?
I think first of all, I start with the site, the nature of site that I have. Is it on a hill? Is it low-lying? Is it flat? And also the size of it. Now, the biggest problem I find in Uganda's design is that we do a lot of copy and paste. We believe that because our builders are experienced in doing a certain shape or design, it's easy for them to replicate. But a good design done on the wrong location makes it more expensive.
I like
so
that.
When you give me a design to make, I'll first look at how your space flows and then think and go with what the flow is giving me on the ground.
Now, talking about the cost for this particular project, How much of that went into cost, from design, construction, finishes, to get such a magnificent project? By the way, tell us about the project. What was the size of land? What did you put on this particular project?
Thank you, Wilbur. What you see here is the typical plot in Uganda, a 50 by 100.
11.5 decimals.
11.5 decimals, about that. And we have 9 studio rooms per level.
Wow.
This brings a total of 18 rooms per level.
So on 11.5 decimals, we have 18 studio apartments.
Yes. In this particular project, for example, I don't know, the client could have bought the land around 50 million because they bought at an earlier stage. And this is something I advise anybody who wants to do it. Buy land in due time, but mind the location a lot. I hope we can get we can get to that a bit later. But the units itself, I think with 18 units, we should have spent around 30 million per unit in total. And that should bring us to about 540 million. Without the plot included. And if you ask me, considering, for example, the rental income of about 500,000 per unit, this is way higher than what you would term as the Ugandan market value of real estate at the moment.
Exactly. So that brings me to the point of returns. You've said we put in about 600 million construction and land, and each unit goes for about 500,000 shillings. That's about 9 million returns. That's about 1.2 or 1.3 returns per month, which is way above the average you'd look at. So what is the return level for studio apartments, in your own opinion?
With 500,000 for 9 units, we earn 9 million here per month. And let me tell you what's even more interesting. They were put up for rent in September 2025, and by the end of October, all of them were full.
So the demand for
this kind of studio is high. Why? Because Uganda is at an industrializing stage, where they employ so many people at a low to mid level. Now, these people do not really have big families. They don't even drive cars, so you don't need to mind about unused space on the outside.
What are the biggest mistakes that investors make before investing in studios or any typology of real estate?
In my view, I'm an engineer, but in this case, I'll speak like a person who has managed property a bit. I think most people start by thinking of how they will feel about their project. I did a project for a very close person to me, and I was devastated in the end because they insisted, they wanted a space that felt that fit. Now, if you,
was it residential? Because in a residential, I would think, yes, I want my test. So do you say that shouldn't apply to rentals?
Now, on rentals, I am not saying that you should design mean, but design more out of yourself. Think about the people, not yourself. You, for example, you love space. You, for example, you want to spend time in your kitchen. Think about the people you're building for. Practically speaking, I don't want to go into these units, but if you went there, you'd find that people perhaps don't even need beds. These days, guys will get pallets, assemble them, put a mattress and sleep. So what I try to do, and what I think a mistake that many people do, is they think for themselves, not for their demand,
not
for the people they are building.
That's true.
Yes. And the second issue is something I mentioned before. People do a lot of copy and paste. They want to hear that Ebo did this at 600 million in this location. Here is the money, go and do it. You tell them, no, please find a percentage of that, and we custom make something that fits your own budget and your own location, and this is not something they want. But if they simply copied this and built it somewhere else, you'll find that they will not get the returns that they are getting here. So if you do not plan, then you plan to fail.
So every project should be unique to its own size of land, demographics, and location.
And design.
Thank you very much, Ebo.
Thank you.